Okay, still catching up. Apologies. I'm eating some Japanese rice crackers because I'm a fat fuck because I quit smoking, like I said in my last video. Kaki no tane, if anyone has ever had them, they're fucking awesome. If you haven't had them, see if you have an Asian food market near you. Kaki no tane. Really good. Anyway, yeah, so I'm trying to quit smoking. Last time I quit smoking, I quit cold turkey and I got quitter's flu within a week. So I promised Bella that I would quit this year. I promised her like a year and a half ago. And she was not going to let me go back on it. So I did manage to weasel some, to make it work a little bit more in my favor. So I am on the 14 milligram patch, what's it called? Nicoderm CQ. I am on 4 milligram of the Nicorette gum pieces, and I go through about 6 or 8 of them a day. And then I have 2 cigarettes, one in the morning, usually on my drive to work, and then one in the afternoon between 4 and 5 p.m. And if nothing else, I did that because, perhaps irrationally, in my head, I thought, well, maybe if I just smoke 2 cigarettes a day rather than quitting cold turkey like I did last time, I won't get that massive sinus infection that I got last time. Because now is not a good time to get any kind of sinus or upper respiratory infection, corona or otherwise. Because even if it's just a normal sinus infection, everyone's going to assume that you have corona. Yeah, and I don't know. So I just didn't want to fuck around with that. And knock on wood, it is working so far. I've been drinking a shit ton of water also to stay hydrated, as I do all the time, and as should you. Water really does wonders. I never used to drink water before Bella and I started dating, believe it or not. And knock on wood, I've only been sick twice since. Admittedly, one of them, as I've said before, was when my dad died, and I was up for 36 hours straight, pretty much. Hold on one second. My dog wants to get let out. She's very smart. She goes to the door and just kind of like waits there, and because she knows that if she's not on the couch, I always look for her. So she's very smart, dogus. All right, so Rosie will come back inside when she's good and ready. So one side effect that I have noticed is that on the patch, it's actually on the warning label that it can give some people nightmares if you wear it at night. Oh, here she comes. Oh, no pee-pee? No pee-pee, no treat, Rose. Anyway, so if you wear the patch at night, it can apparently give you nightmares. I am kind of an adrenaline junkie in some respects. So I have been wearing my patch at night ever since I started. And it hasn't given me nightmares. It's given me fucking awesome dreams. One of them, a buddy of mine from work and I were like paranormal activity investigators. And I'm not talking like ghosts. I'm talking like haunting of Hill House, will kill you, murder you, like horrifying ghosts. So that was fucking awesome. And then in another one, and I've never even seen the show Chicago PD, I've only seen commercials for it. But in another one of my dreams, Sophia Bush and I from Chicago PD were on a tactical team together, and I boomed a door and just lit some baddies up, gun-toting baddies. They were armed. Let's be clear. The baddies in my dream, whom received shotgun blasts to the chest, were imminent threats. So yeah, it's been kind of cool, kind of weird, because I haven't remembered dreams for a very, very, very long time. And now I'm remembering dreams every night, and some of them are really fucking crazy. But no nightmares. Even the paranormal activity and Hunter dream wasn't a nightmare. So just be forewarned, if you ever do try the patches and you use your patch at night or wear your patch at night, just be forewarned. Yeah, I definitely. I'm a week and a half in. I definitely wouldn't be able to not smoke any cigarettes. That would be extremely difficult going from 10 to 15 cigarettes a day to zero. So the two a day is making a tremendous difference. So, and I have a shit ton of nicotine coursing through my veins between the patch, gum, and then those two cigarettes. But dude, it's I feel a lot better. I actually don't have as much energy because I think I'm so used to being propped up by just like basically mainlining nicotine, which I'm kind of still doing, but it's not the same as smoking a pack or a half a pack a day. But yeah, I've been a little tired. I wouldn't say depressed, but I've definitely been just fucking exhausted. So I don't know if that's a side effect or if that's just me also going back to work physically and not being able to sit on my couch for work 8 hours a day, watching CNBC and doing webinars and whatever else I can actually do at home. So that could be part of it too. So yeah, if anyone else is a smoker, I would encourage you to quit. I know how awesome smoking is, having smoked for the last 7 years. But in the age of Corona, man, it is not a good idea to be a smoker. That's objective fact. And vaping. A lot of my friends have switched to vaping and they say it's better and helps, but there's no science behind it. There's not enough science behind it. And as far as I'm concerned, you're inhaling vapors, chemical vapors, and vapor is water. It's chemical water vapor. And pneumonia is when there's an excess of water in your lungs that causes either a bacterial or viral infection. Yeah, so I don't want to fuck around with pneumonia, especially in the age of Corona, because that is how most of the people, or not most, but certainly a large number of people are dying from Corona, is the secondary infection from pneumonia. So, yeah, no thanks. I will stick with my patches, with my really cool, crazy dreams, gum, and my 2 cigarettes a day. But yeah, although I still am a smoker, I would really encourage people who also are smokers to quit because, yeah, it's just, I mean, it feels great. It's for me, it's really centering and calming, even though it's a stimulant, so that's counterintuitive, but it is centering. But it's not worth lung cancer or any kind of pulmonary complication that could make you more susceptible to corona or exacerbate any kind of a corona infection that, God forbid, you might get. So, yeah, even though I'm a smoker and have been a smoker, I could never buy stock in big tobacco, so don't even bother asking. I would not and will not advocate that. That is about as directly possible as one could benefit from someone else's demise aside, well, at least in a publicly traded forum, obviously excluding wills and estates. But in a publicly traded forum, it's certainly the closest one can get to benefiting from someone else's demise. The next would be Boeing, owning stock in Boeing. That'd be like benefiting from someone's demise because that company just has zero regard for people's safety, as evidenced by the 737 MAX being pushed through and having scarily high number of crashes. Although they did undergo FAA tests for the new 737 MAX the other week, I still don't know what the results of those tests are. I frankly don't give a fuck because I do not want to come close to owning Boeing stock. Some of my biggest winners recently, that's my segue, in the market have, aside from Microsoft, which actually has slowed down in the last couple of days, but that's okay because it's at all-time highs, as are many other mega cap tech companies and stocks. Caterpillar. I bought Caterpillar probably I think my average cost is like maybe 108, something like that. It has done exceedingly well recently, and it really doesn't have all that much business having done so well. Also, energy has been, or today anyway, energy was on fire. Home Depot is still very close to its all-time high. But most of my holdings have done rather well. Even Monday, when the market was down about 1%, I was only down about 1/3%. So I beat the market there. And then today, the market was up a little over 1%, I think. And I was, it was up about 1.3%. And I was up about 1.67%. So I've had a few really good days in the market. And again, I don't consider any of my holdings to be overly risky. Most of them are large or mega cap companies with comparatively healthy balance sheets, low debt, if any. You got to look at debt to equity ratios. You got to look at, well, historically, you would have looked at PE ratios, price to earning ratios. If you're a little bit more savvy, you could look at EBITDA. If you don't know what it is, Google it. It's easier for you to Google it than for me to explain it. But you know what? I'll just explain it. It is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and loans and assets, which is really a better gauge in determining a company's health and profitability than just straight PE ratio, but it's a little bit easier to find PE ratios. Some companies aren't quite as forthcoming about their EBITDAs, but yeah, so none of my holdings are risky assets. The riskiest one I honestly have is Disney, because we're not exactly sure what's going to happen with the theme parks reopening and continue to reopen, and capacity and all that. So that's the only company that I'm even remotely concerned about is Disney. If you're in my Discord server, I'll pass around a full list of my holdings, and I'll pin it up in there. I'm not going to go into all of them, at least not in this video. Maybe I'll go into it in another video, but I'm not going to just do it every time I talk about stocks, because that'd be mind-numbing. But yeah, so knock on wood, with the continued progress and success that companies are having with potential vaccines, the markets will rise. Hopefully a little bit more evenly than they have in the last couple months, because it's really been almost exclusively a mega cap tech rise that has kind of dragged everything else with it a little bit by bit. But yeah, hopefully we'll get a little bit more even distribution.